Welcome to ilectureonline. Now here's an interesting optical or optics question from the JEE advanced test. Let's read it together. It does deal with Snell's law, and we'll see in just a moment why. A planar structure of length L and width W is made of two different optical media. One that has an index of refraction N1 and one that has an index of refraction N2. N1 is 1.5, N2 is 1.44. Assuming that L is much larger than W. Now they do give us the value for L. L equals 9.6 meters? Yep, 9.6 meters. And yeah, there it is. But they don't give us the value for W. Now, a ray entering from end AB like this, and it turns out, I looked at the drawing, they do give you the drawing, but they made a mistake on the drawing. When you go from air to an index of refraction, which is greater than that for air, the ray bends towards the normal. They have it actually bent away from the normal. So they made a mistake, but you know, mistakes do happen. I make plenty of them myself, but at least we corrected it here. So it turns out when a ray enters from end AB, will eventually emerge from CD. And if, of course, we have total internal reflection. Otherwise, it will just simply go across the border and not exit at CD. But so we're assuming total internal reflection. And now they're telling us that we'll pick an incident angle theta. We don't care what the angle theta is as it goes in. But we want to have it in such that it takes a maximum amount of time for the light to go from here to there. Of course, the minimum amount of time is when we shine the light straight in, and it doesn't go back and forth between the boundaries. You go straight across. But no, we're going to bounce it like this. So at first you look at that and go, how in the world should I fix that or solve that? But it turns out it's not so bad when we use the right principles here. First of all, let's try to find the minimum time. What happens if the light was shining directly like this and goes all the way across? Well, this is one thing we should know, is how far light travels in a single nanosecond. Now, what they have here is, of course, they want to express the time in terms of t times 10 to the minus 9 seconds. 10 to the minus 9 is nanoseconds. It turns out that light travels about 1 foot, 30 centimeters, in 1 nanosecond. So, we would then say simply divide 9.6 meters by 30 centimeters and you get the time in seconds. But then you say, well, wait a minute, because when light travels in a medium other than air, it will slow down depending upon the index of refraction. So that means that since c is equal to 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, it turns out that c divided by n1 is equal to 3 times 10 to the 8 divided by 1.5 meters per second. So it's only 2 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, which means that the time that light travels, so the distance equals 20 centimeters in 1 second. So through the medium, light only travels at 20 centimeters per second. So we take the distance, 9.6 meters divided by 0.2 meters per second, and that gives us 48, let's see here, per nanosecond, not per second, per nanosecond. So it gives us 48 nanoseconds. So the fastest possible time, so t fastest, is 48 nanoseconds. But what is the maximum time? So this is the smallest, right? The smallest time. So what is the maximum time? Well, of course, you want to make the path as long as possible, going back and forth. And, how do we do that? Well, first of all, let's think about total internal reflection. So we start with Snell's law, where we say N1 sine of theta 1 equals N2 sine of theta 2. But for total internal reflection, we set theta 2 equal to 90 degrees. Because what we want is we want the light to go like this and then parallel out. So that's total internal reflection. And if the angle is done any bigger, of course, it reflects inward. So that's the edge of the point at which we have total internal reflection. So that means that we have N1 sine of theta 1 equals N2 sine of 90 degrees, which is equal to 1. So we get sine of theta 1 is equal to n2 divided by n1. In this case, n2 is 1.44, n1 is 1.5. So if you want to find the angle, theta 1 is equal to, or the critical angle as we call it, the critical angle for total internal reflection is equal to the inverse sine of 1.44 divided by 1.5. So the way to think about it is that you're actually traveling at an angle. And so we have this internal angle like this. We have this, the critical angle to be whatever this is. Now, of course, without a calculator, you can't calculate it. But you don't need to. Because when you think about it, we're interested in finding this distance right here of the triangle. How far is this distance? So when you travel this distance, how do you calculate that distance? So you can see here that the true path, the distance that you travel along here is equal to the distance on the straight path, divided by, and of course, since that's the opposite side, the sine of the critical angle. Now, the sine of the critical angle is equal to 1.44 divided by 1.5. So therefore, you say the distance that you travel is equal to the distance along the straight line divided by the sine of the critical angle, which is 1.44 divided by 1.5. So essentially, you take the distance is equal to 1.5 over 1.44 times the straight distance. And of course, since the time it takes to travel that distance is proportional, that means that the slowest time, the maximum time, is going to be equal to 1.5 divided by 1.44 times the smallest or shortest time. And we already calculated shortest time when we travel in a straight line, so this is equal to 1.5 divided by 1.44 times 48 times 10 to the minus 9 seconds. Now, we have no calculator. 1.5 divided by 1.44. That if I multiply both the top and the bottom by 20, that would be equal to 30 divided by 28.8 times 48 times 10 to the minus 9 seconds. If I now multiply that times 3, I get that's equal to 90 divided by 3 times that would be, let's see here, 1.2, 3.6, that would be 86.4 times 48 times 10 to the minus 9 seconds. 28.8, 1.2. So that's about a 3% difference. A little bit more than 3% difference. So I'm looking for a difference, about 3% difference, roughly speaking. So 3% of 48 nanoseconds is about 1.5 nanoseconds. It's actually a little bit more than 3%, so a little bit more than 1.5 nanoseconds. So with other words, that this is roughly equal to about 50 nanoseconds. So again, let me quickly show what I did. The shortest time is 48 nanoseconds. We know we have to multiply times 1.5 over 1.44. I'm trying to figure out what percentage difference that is. So I multiply both by 20, I get 30 over 28.8, times 3 gives me almost 100, right? 90 is almost 100 over 86.4. So it looks like maybe about, I think it's closer to about a 4% difference if I go all the way to 100. 4% difference, roughly speaking, difference between 86.4 and 90. If I make that 100, then this will be about 96 or close to it. So it's about a 4% difference. What's 4% of 48? That's about 2. Add 2 to 48 is about 50 nanoseconds. So I would say that T is about 50. And it turns out that's probably pretty close to the answer.
So it's not a multiple choice problem?
No, here you have to find the value for T. And when I went and looked at the answers, they allow anywhere between 49 and 51.
If you just look at it, it's slightly more than 1. The ratio 1.5 over 1.44.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit more than than 48, right?
Yeah, you know it's a little bit more than 48. But then how much more? So I wanted to get closer.
Look at it, it's just not much between 1.5 and 1.44.
Right, but in order to get a feel for what the ratio is, I first multiplied by 20 to make that 30, and that's 28.8. And then I went up to something close to 100, multiply both by 3, and I get this ratio. If I make this 100, then this is about 96. So it's about 100 to 96, roughly speaking, which is about a 4% difference. And so 4% of 48, which is 4% of 50, is about 2. Again, without a calculator, you kind of have to come up with methodologies like that.
You just multiply it, you make it 150 over 144.
Yeah, 150 over 144, so you multiply everything by 100. What is that, right? It's
14 over 15.
Yeah.
Or 15 over 14.
Yeah, so I like to go to something that close to 100. That makes it easier to see the percentage difference. That's why I did. All right.